Hello and welcome. I'm Rodney Beard. I'm senior pastor of the Living Word Community Church in Antioch, and I am also a senior staff writer for the Tennessee Tribune. Welcome to our show, Tennessee Tribune Mayoral Forum. Now, this broadcast is sponsored by the Tennessee Tribune and our publisher, Mrs. Rosetta Miller Perry, and it's one of the oldest, it's one of the most prolific African American newspapers of the South. Now, this is a weekly endeavor to educate, inform, inspire, and empower those people of Nashville that we all love so much to understand the political process and who the players are, the roles that they can play as well with critical issues of politics, social, and race in Nashville. Now, knowledge is a very potent form of power, and our responsibility is to bring you that knowledge so that we can encourage you to vote eventually for the candidate of your choice. Now, you need to know your candidates intimately and support them, but in order to do that, you need the knowledge to be able to do so, and that's why we're here. We want to give you what you need. We want to make sure that you understand the process, but more than anything, we want you to vote. Get up close and personal with your candidates and know who they are and what they stand for. I'm excited today because we have Councilman at Large Jerry Maynard with us, and he's sitting in for a mayoral candidate, Bill Freeman. But we want to just go back and forth with a little banter and hope that you're able to understand what it is that is at stake in this critical time. So thank you so much. Councilman Maynard.
Yes, sir.
This young man has an interesting life story for sure. He's an attorney, he has a stellar career. He's a great civic leader and pastor here at Southside Community Church, located on 12th Avenue South. So, you need to come here and preach, but you need to listen to him today as well. Councilman.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about you, Jerry Maynard II.
Sure, I grew up in South Bend, Indiana. I always wanted to be a lawyer and a judge. Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall was my inspiration. I remember reading about him and what he did in traveling throughout the South, taking on cases in order to overcome Jim Crow laws and overcome injustice. I was on the debate team in high school and speech and all of that, and I just looked at it that was my calling as well. I'm a fourth generation pastor. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, my mother, they're all pastors, and they all taught me the value of service and that the community, that we can have church on Sunday, but if we're not changing the community Monday through Saturday, then we're failing. Mm-hmm. And so the measurement of our success as ministry is how we transform our community. As the unemployment gone down, have we replaced hopelessness with hope? Have we replaced poverty with prosperity? I don't mean that prosperity, I'm talking about health and wealth and well-being and feeling good about yourself through Jesus Christ and feeling that you have a mission and purpose in life. So that's who I am. I was elected in 2007 as a Metro Councilman at Large, and I see that as an extension of the ministry. I don't see myself as a politician. I see myself as a minister speaking truth to power, but more importantly, getting things done for those who don't have a voice.
Amen. Amen. Fourth generation.
Fourth generation.
Man, that's enviable, man. I'm first generation. I'm the first in my whole bloodline.
Yes, sir.
To pastor or be a minister. So that's really good. I'll tell you what was it that inspired you to run for city council?
Sure, 2003 was the first time I ran. I met with Mayor Bill Purcell, and I was talking about North Nashville and the fact that we weren't getting the investments in North Nashville that the downtown was getting, the Sobro area, the Gulch area, and some other areas of town. And I went to the mayor and I said, why aren't you investing in North Nashville? And he said, well, your council person didn't ask for any money and didn't ask for any investment. So I said, well, I'm going to run because I need to make sure that we get our fair share of investment in North Nashville. I ran in 2003. I lost by 21 votes. It was from that point, though, that I learned a valuable lesson, Pastor Beard, and that is I ran in 2003 with all these promises but no record of service. So what I did is I got busy working with JUMP, the Jefferson Street United Merchants Partnership, working with Watkins College, going on their board, working as a community activist, started a radio show just like you had one, and I began to work in the field to say, hey, I'm going to show myself approved by working Then when I ran in 2007 as an at-large, I had already worked then in changing Jefferson Street as a private citizen,
Improving yourself
and improving the community as an activist, and then running on my record, not just promises.
Well, hey, let's get to what I really want to get to. Okay. Now we know who you are, and we've always known you. And I want to congratulate you on doing an awesome job in everything that you do. I mean, this community really appreciates you, whether you understand that or not. Now, I'm sure you know all the mayoral candidates.
Yes, I do, very well.
Who's going to win?
Bill Freeman.
Bill Freeman's going to win? Why do you think he's going to win?
I think Bill Freeman's going to win because he has created the most diverse and broad coalition. We've got Democrats, Republicans, white, blacks, Hispanics. We've got old and young. We've got everybody from conservatives to liberals all on his campaign because we believe in one thing. We believe that Bill is going to be a man of action, not just talk, not just promises.
Right.
And it's based on what he's done in the past. Let me give you an example. Bill Freeman has provided scholarships for students at Meharry Medical College, Nashville State Community College, and Tennessee State University College. He serves on the foundation board for Tennessee State University. He's put his energy, his treasure, and his resources and everything he has behind causes that we agree with. And that is, how do I help young people live the American dream? How do I help transform communities so they go from poverty to hope and wealth? And so Bill Freeman has done that over 30 years.
So that's why you think he's going to win?
That's why he's going to win, because his record speaks loud.
Well, you know, they say that Howard Gentry and Bill are neck and neck in the polls. Do you trust the polling?
I trust the polling, and I do believe that Howard Gentry is a strong candidate with a strong base, and I believe that it is close. I think that we're 2 or 3 points separates us from Howard. I think we're leading, and I think that Howard's a great candidate.
I do too. I love Howard Gentry. I've known Howard 25 years.
I've known Howard for 20 years.
You know, and I just love Howard. But, you know, how can he even... Howard really believes he's going to win. He believes that if he gets a certain amount of votes, he's going to be the mayor of Nashville. Of course, that's how it goes. But Howard, I mean, the black population is only 28% of the area, voting area.
And only 24% really of the electorate.
And 24% of the electorate, but only what percentage do you think of African Americans particularly are going to get out to vote?
Well, let's talk about that. You know, Pastor Beard, that in a presidential race, when Obama ran in 2008 and ran in 2012, 67% of African Americans voted in the presidential race.
Yeah, but that's presidential. Locally, though.
So on locally though, only 17 to 20% come out and vote.
So if only 17 to 20% of the entire voting population that's black come out, then how could Howard come up with those numbers?
Well, Howard's going to have to get a broad coalition. He's going to have white people vote for him, black people vote for him, Hispanics, just like the way I won in 2007 and 2011. You got to have a broad coalition. And the question becomes for Howard is, can he appeal countywide? Bill is appealing to everybody, white, black, and Hispanic, women, you name it.
Well, how about Charles Bone?
Charles Bone is a friend of mine, and he's a great person. I love his dad. I love the law firm. Their law firm is a firm that's been inclusive of having African American and women partners. They're one of the more progressive law firms in the city. So Charles Robert Bone is a personal friend of mine and a good person. I just think that Bill Freeman has a seasoning. He's older. He started his own business from scratch.
How old is Bone?
Bone is younger than me, so he's probably 40, 42.
Okay, well, speaking of age, what do you think about Jeremy Kane? Now, Jeremy is the nicest guy you ever want to meet.
Inexperienced.
And he looks like Joel Osteen.
He does, but he's too young.
How old is he?
He's probably in his 30s, but more importantly is he needed to run for something else first. He needed to run for council at large or something like that.
Well, how do we know he's not running for something else now?
We don't know that. But
how can he win?
I would have told him not to run for mayor right now because he's inexperienced.
Well, his name recognition, right?
He has no name recognition.
He's getting it now. His signs all over the place.
Well, he's running just like Linda Rubberbeck.
Well, that's going to help him with any other future endeavor he may have.
I agree with that.
And I wonder what that future endeavor may be. I mean, I know that he is related personally in a friendly sort of social way, if you will, to the Clintons.
Correct. Well, he dated their daughter.
Yeah. So why wouldn't that? Is that equity he can use, man?
Bill Clinton's not going to come in here and endorse it and campaign for Jeremy Kane. And if Jeremy, I wouldn't want Bill Clinton doing that. Jeremy should want to run on his own record, his own message. And unfortunately, I think.
Oh, come on now, wouldn't you? Come on, man. If Bill Clinton was going to endorse you, you wouldn't accept that?
Oh, we're not talking about me.
That's all right. I think Jerry McCain has other aspirations than just getting his feet wet.
I agree. And I think
how about Megan Barry? Now, I interviewed Megan briefly at Rosetta's office.
Yeah.
Man, Megan, she's an impressive woman.
That's exactly right. Megan has a record. I've served with her for 8 years. Megan and I worked together on some good things, especially supporting General Hospital. And so I have a lot of respect for Megan Barry. I think that Megan's going to run a great campaign. She's been doing a great campaign. I just don't think that her base is broad enough.
Well, I don't think that Nashville is ready for a female mayor. And personally, I don't think Nashville will elect a black mayor.
I think that Nashville is ready for the right black mayor and the right woman mayor.
Okay, well, Megan is very, very impressive, but
Very
do you
impressive.
think she
And
can
has
win?
I don't think she can win in this one because I don't think she has a broad enough appeal.
Well, then she's going to have to wait 2 terms because whoever gets in there is going to have 2 terms. That's going to be.
I think there's some other opportunities for Megan Barry.
In the meantime.
And she's very impressive, and I think that Megan will have some opportunities and not just running for mayor.
David Fox.
Doesn't have a shot.
Is he a Republican?
He is.
Okay.
He doesn't have a shot.
I interviewed him as well, and when I met him, he's such a straight arrow kind of guy. If you notice how he even sits, he sits very erect.
Right.
And he seems so deliberate, but he has such a passion for education. Do you think that's enough for him to run on with his?
He should run for the director of schools. He should run for the school board again. Because education is a #1 priority, top priority, but it's not the only thing. You got to deal with crime. You got to deal with not only education, but you got to deal with General Hospital and healthcare. You got to deal with public works and how your infrastructure. How are we going to continue to maintain Nashville from an infrastructure perspective? We got all this broke, but do we have enough sewer lines, water lines, roads, and bridges? You got to deal with all of those.
Right, and everybody likes to talk about the infrastructure, but nobody seems to want to do anything about it. And I think I bet a rim the other day.
Right, I have too. But you know what? The next mayor cannot just be an education mayor. The next
Well, how do you feel about now? He feels Jeremy particularly. Well, I guess Linda Rebrovic. Let's talk about her very briefly.
Now, Linda is talking about smart city efficiency. She's done a great job. She's ran a great campaign. She's got great commercials.
Yeah.
Linda's problem is that no one knows her name. You got to run county
Right.
This is 400 and some odd thousand people that you've got to run. And that if you don't know your name, and this is her first campaign, it's going to be tough for her to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But she's running.
I've never even heard of her.
Me neither. Well, she's now Eskins. The real Eskins.
Yeah, and see, that's a big thing. What family is that related to?
Well, the Eskin family is a prominent family within Nashville. Much respect and much love goes to Jane Eskin, her husband, and the service that they provided to the city. And she's related to the Eskin family that are pillars in our community.
Okay, so I guess we got all the mayoral candidates, right?
Well,
so you say Bill Freeman is gonna. Bill Freeman, you say Bill is gonna win
because he has the broadest support.
Who's he gonna be in the runoff with?
I don't know.
Come on.
Okay, I think it's gonna.
I know y'all talking about that.
I don't think Bill's talking about it. Bill's focused on his race, but I'm gonna talk about it. I know that Bill's focused on his race. He's not talking about who his opponent. Here's what I think is
Who's the closest contender to Bill?
I think right now it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between Megan Barry, Howard Gentry, and possibly.
Okay, that's 3. That's 4 people.
No, I said 2.
2. Okay, we got Bill is going to be in the race in the runoff with either
Howard Gentry or Megan Barry.
I can't see Howard. I can't see him getting those votes.
I think his base is strong enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. But Megan Barry is strong too. But here's the thing, everybody says the one with the most money gonna win the race.
That's not true all the time. The person with the right message, the right support, the broad-based support, the one who has a record, who's actually done it, not just
well, they're saying that Bill
promises.
Freeman is leading the race because he's got the most ads.
No, that's not true. Charles Robert Bone outspent us before we ever got in the race. And so if you look at the money, oh yeah, David Fox put $1 million of his own money in the race.
Speaking of millions,
just because you have money in the race doesn't mean like you don't win.
Well, speaking of millions, of course, Bill Freeman is a billionaire. Would it be? That's not true.
Bill Freeman grew up in Donaldson.
No, I'm talking about right now.
He's not a billionaire. No.
So where did that come from?
People who are opponents and saying that he's not a billionaire.
Okay, well he's
a successful businessman.
How close to being a billionaire is he?
He's not that close at all. Bill Freeman is a man that cares about the people, cares about the city, and loves the city.
Jerry. That's good.
He's not a billionaire.
Okay, but all of them. Well, let's see. How many of them are millionaires? You got Bill,
Linda,
Fox, Linda.
Yeah. I don't know what Charles Robert is, but I know.
Come on, you gotta know he's gotta be at least a millionaire.
I'm sure his family has money.
Come on, I mean,
And guess what? I love successful people.
Of
People who are
course.
successful. That to me is something that should not ever be apologized for.
Yeah.
They're successful folks who've done everything that they've done in raising their family and helping to change the community for the better.
so what do you think are going to be the top 3 issues the next mayor is going to have to deal with?
Oh, first of all, we have to deal with mass transit. Number 2, you have to deal with education.
Tell me about mass transit in 1 minute or less.
In 1 minute or less, you cannot just have a regional mass transit system. You have to have an urban transit system as well. We have got to have a system that does not rely just on buses, because that will not work.
So are you suggesting some sort of rail?
We have to have some sort of rail in combination with our buses.
Well, I mean, they just turned down AMP. I mean,
Well,
you know, it's obvious.
the AMP was not a comprehensive regional urban transit system.
Explain what that means. That means that they weren't serving enough
That's correct.
middle class, lower class people.
No.
Because in Green Hills, everybody out there got a car.
What I'm talking about comprehensive is to be county-wide. You have to have a transit system that is a comprehensive approach that's county-wide.
Okay,
You have to
number
deal with-
2.
You have to deal with Gallatin Road, Murfreesboro Road, you have
Okay.
to deal with Charlotte and all that.
Well, that's dealing with a whole bunch of areas where just the common folks live.
That's correct.
Okay, number 2, what's the next?
Education. You got to bring the school board right now is acting dysfunctional, and the next mayor's got to work with the school board director and the school board, and they have to have common purpose and common mission to work to make sure that every child has a great education.
How do you feel about charter schools?
I think charter schools have this role. I don't like the way that charter schools presents itself as an alternative to our conventional schools. Charter schools need to be used as a way to say we will enhance what we already have. In other words, here's what I want to say. Charter schools should say, we did these things, it worked. We did these things, they didn't work.
And then pass it to the
And
main
then
school
pass it to the
system.
main school system. Let the main school system say, we're going to take those things that work, those good practices, those best practices, and implement it.
Okay, now let me ask you this about charter schools, and this is just me. I wrote an article about this. I mentioned it in an article. You know, charter schools are great, but when a kid goes to a charter school, he takes the money from the school around the corner
Correct.
and takes it over here.
That's correct.
On top of that, charter schools have opportunities to raise money as a nonprofit,
Right.
but there are for-profits that so into charter schools, like
Right.
educational management organizations. Educational management organizations are chiefly due to the 1% investing their money so their kids don't have to go to the school around the corner, or to make sure they have the school that they want, while the other schools are being ignored.
Well, charter schools, the most important thing about charter schools right now, charter schools only have 8% of our students. We cannot just focus on those 8%. We've got to focus on the other 92%. And the question for charter schools is, are you engaging in reform measures that we can take those best practices that actually work?
Do they even mention that?
Look at this. The data shows that they actually work. They move the needle in education in a positive way.
Mhm.
They then need to share that with the entire school system so we can improve the entire 92%.
So why
it's
don't
92%. Because this whole thing is, charter schools have been treated like a private school with public money.
There you
And
go.
that's the
There you
narrative
go.
that I'm against. I'm against you saying, I'm a great charter school,
Right.
we're better than your school. No,
Right.
you work both for public schools. Let's work together to enhance all schools
Well,
for all children.
what I hate about charter schools is the fact that the 1% has ways of funneling money into them. And so the fear of most people who don't understand the narrative completely is that charter schools is the precursor to something we both hate, these privatized prisons.
Right.
And that because what happens with a charter school is, the 1% owns the private prison system, right? I mean, it's a cash cow for them. You know, a lot of people feel the charter schools is a precursor to that, and they prefigured that what's going to happen is because of the rate of poverty and the lack of education in the metro, let's say the metro school system, that's going to breed more situations and more circumstances for individuals to end up in this system of mass incarceration.
Well, I look at charter schools having a great role, and the great role of charter schools is that they have the freedom to try new things, to try reform measures. And what charter schools need to do is say, these are the reforms that work. These are the initiatives that work. We want to share it then with the entire school system, and then have the entire school system say, let's then look at these reforms and let's embrace those reforms that actually work. And then we work together to make all schools better.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody saying, I'm a charter school, I'm better than your school.
Yeah.
No, that's not the point. The point is you should be enhancing the entire school system.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're treating it like it's a private institution
And
anyway.
that's what
so
I
what's
would
the
say.
third topic?
Infrastructure.
Education.
So we've done a good job of investing in downtown. We need to now invest in the entire county. We need to invest in Donaldson, Bordeaux. We need to invest in Madison. We need to go to Bellevue. We need to go down to Antioch. We need more invest in our roads, bridges, our schools. We need to in roads, bridges, schools. We need to make sure our public works department is enhanced.
What about affordable housing?
Affordable housing is the fourth one. You asked me for my top three.
Oh, I get it. We already did
three.
Okay.
Fourth one is affordable housing. We've got to have affordable housing. Bill Freeman has a plan of 30,000 affordable housing units.
How practical is that?
It's very practical. Over 8 years, very practical. 10,000 in the first 4 years, and here's how you do it, is that we provide incentives for developers. You know why developers aren't doing affordable housing?
Why?
Because people are willing to pay $1,200 a month right now, and they're willing to pay $1,300 a month and $1,400 a month for rent. So why would somebody do affordable housing when somebody's willing to give you $1,400 a month?
I mean, that's, now you know, we both know that's the trick of the devil, right?
Well, my point is, here's my point. Davidson County right now is on a boom. And people are willing to pay top dollar for rent.
Right.
So a developer doesn't have any incentive to do affordable housing.
Right.
What we have to do as a government, we have to give them incentives to provide apartment units for $600 a month, for $500 a month, so the working family can have affordable, high quality units and housing to live in. Because the developer is going to do what's going to make them money, unless you give them an incentive to do better, which is also to include affordable housing.
Okay. Calm down.
Sure.
On this one, I want you to take a deep breath. Okay.
I'm going off your energy. You know I'm going off your energy.
Jefferson Street.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness, what a disappointment. Oh my goodness. I mean, and how do you feel about that? I'm talking to landowners who are basically livid over the fact that the process got slowed down, but we both know gentrification is coming to Jefferson Street. Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing? How do you feel about the gentrification of that area?
So gentrification of any area is a major concern, because what you're having is people who live there, people who've lived there all their life, all of a sudden are being displaced. In this situation with the headquarters, that was not gentrification. What was happening is that there are dilapidated properties, blighted properties on Jefferson Street.
All up and down.
28 years, that property looked like a hot mess.
It's been like that for 25 years that I've been there. I was so disappointed.
28
man.
years of this lot of land, these 2 lots, 3 lots, has been dilapidated, blighted. All of a sudden, we're going to invest in an administrative office building, $23 million. That means construction jobs. That means that minority and women-owned companies will get construction.
What's the percentage you said? 20%.
20% have to go to women and minority-owned businesses.
Right.
That means jobs. That means employees working in the administrative office building going to have their lunch, cleaners, all that kind of stuff, shopping.
How many jobs was that?
It was 115 jobs.
Do you think it's going to come back?
No, I was about to say something.
You don't think?
No,
Well, go on and say it. You know what you said in the paper.
There's no way they will come back to Jefferson Street after the way that they were treated. And what Justice for Jefferson Street messed up is they started throwing names that this was somehow an occupation force and backroom deals, twisting of arms and things of that
It's
nature.
like they cut off their nose to spite their face. Now, who are these people? They're not the landowners, so why do they have such a voice?
Because they gathered together out of fear, and what they did is they used a common denominator of fear and saying what they're going to do is racial profile. First of all, it wasn't a precinct.
Right.
Number 2, there were no jail cells.
Right.
Number 3, it is an administrative office. You know who's going to be there? HR, public relations, administrative.
Who was going to be there.
Who was going to be there. And the chief of police ain't arrested nobody in 25 years.
Well, let me ask you this. We know there's nothing to, I mean, what I hear about Jefferson Street is this is going to happen. That baseball stadium opened the door. I heard that there's going to be, I heard there are going to be 3, and we got to wrap up, there are going to be that 3 popular chefs want to locate down there, boutiques, music venues, galore. How could you turn all that down? How could you turn down all those jobs?
So we got, when I say we, the council was criticized because Metro government had not invested in Jefferson Street.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Metro government says, we're going to invest $23 million.
Right, and then
in
they kill
administrative, and then they kill it. And they say, well, that's not good enough. We don't want the headquarters. We want something else. Here's what I say to those persons who were against it.
What
Where's
did
your
you say?
$23 million?
That's right.
Tell me where you
and
want
where's
to
their
invest it.
development
Where's
deal
your
now?
development deal? Because now those lands are still blank.
sad.
The buildings are still.
When I first moved here, my daddy wanted me to, go to Fisk when I was in college. I did, and when I got out of college, he wanted me to come to Meharry. I did, and I moved up here. I couldn't wait to see Fisk. I couldn't wait to see Jefferson Street because my daddy would tell us all about Jefferson Street and all of the stuff about the community, and I was so disappointed riding down that street and seeing that there was nothing really being done. And now we have an opportunity to do it. I think we all need to work together to make sure this thing comes to fruition. I don't want the police precinct thing to go away. And I mean the headquarters,
Right.
and neither do the landowners because their
all the
property
business
values
owners
will
wanted,
skyrocket.
all the business owners of Jefferson Street wanted the headquarters there because it was an investment.
Right, and their investments will now pay
Exactly.
off.
Will pay
I ain't gonna call his name, but I talked to somebody paid $60,000 for a house right there behind Mary's Barbecue. Now it's worth almost $200,000. And he said that if when this stuff happens, he gonna turn it into a coffee shop, and it's gonna be worth $250,000. Who turns down money like that? We gotta go.
We gotta go, but let me say this right here. Hope Garden is diverse, black folks and white folks. Salem Town is diverse, black folks and white
Right.
folks. Buena Vista, historic Buena Vista is diverse, black folks and white folks. So when people talk about, oh, if you put the headquarters there, you're gonna make all the black folks go away. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Why don't-
Guess what? This ain't gonna become white. TSU ain't gonna become white. And
The
the Hague
people
ain't
that
gonna
live in
become
the
white.
neighborhood would probably go to those stores in black colleges and walk around the corner.
We
That's
just traffic
crazy.
going up and down the street.
We do.
That's what will happen.
And traffic in with people with money.
With money.
To invest in that community. Thank you, Jerry. We gotta go. Thank you so much for watching us today. We're gonna even be more gassed up next time we meet. And I want to thank you for showing up and just listening to us and tell somebody about us. The Tennessee Tribune Mayoral Forum. I'm Rodney Beard, Senior Pastor of the Living Word Community Church. This is my friend Jerry Maynard II, Senior Pastor at Southside Community Church. Come visit his church down here on 12th Avenue South. The boy can preach. You think Bishop can preach. You need to hear his son. So God bless you. We're so happy you joined us. God bless you, and we'll see you real soon.